Yeah, before our neighbors kill us for doing this super late at night. No, no. Oh my god. Waking up the neighborhood just to say thank you.
Gosh, these guys over here, they're just nervous.
It's always been a mission of mine to make a video while another video is rendering, so let's go do it. Okay, so while that other video is rendering, I wanted to show you the new thing that I just picked up. This is a new Falcon B30. He's B30, B30L, B something. It is so cool. Okay, I'm currently unpacking the Falcon BL30TD light, which is kind of similar to the Aperture 120D, it's just Falcon version. I'm so excited to have this. It's been like a bucket list piece of gear to own and play around with. I'm gonna build it, set it up, and then we'll talk about everything. Oh, this is so cool. Getting new gear and playing around with new stuff, especially lighting. Lighting and lenses for me are like my two favorite things to unbox, play around with, and try out, just because of how versatile they are. Okay, so I'm just gonna be brutally honest about two things. The first one is all of the footage that I had of setting up this light. I had this cool time lapse of me building it and putting up the freaking crazy large light dome, and I had it all ready, and then the next day I had a shoot, and I was on like a filmmaking rampage, and I'm like, oh, I think I downloaded those shots. I think I have that time lapse. I deleted that time lapse. I deleted the behind the scenes of setting up this light, and it's no longer here. So now I'm filling in the gaps with me talking to camera. The second thing, I know there's a lot of truth, so much truth, oh my god! I did not get this video done within the time frame of rendering, which was like 2 minutes or something. But that being said, still good news, still fun stuff to pay attention to, so don't skip ahead. I'm gonna talk about the light, my favorite features, functions, all of that fun stuff in a super quick period of time. Let's get into it. So overall, my Falcon shooting experience was amazing. I basically used it for two different things. I shot tutorial-based stuff with this big, massive light dome that took forever to set up. And then I also shot the opening segment that you saw. Let's talk about the opening segment first, and then we'll get into sort of doing interview type stuff using a light dome. Right out of the box, if you take this light out, it has a cool function, which is being a spotlight. It was unfortunately snowing last night, which it looked super cool, but it sucks because it's like almost spring and it's still snowing in Canada. But we took out the light. I had my right-hand man, my mom, help me out by shooting this like cool sort of like spotlight going through the trees, hitting up the snow, and it looked super cool. Now the great thing about this is the light is so powerful that we had it dimmed down to 10%, and it was able to almost be too bright in that current situation. So you can only imagine how bright it gets to when it gets to 100%. The second amazing thing is the fact that it's an LED, it doesn't get too hot. So my mom was able to actually just hold the light the whole time, and we're filming for like 40 minutes, and it didn't get overheated, it didn't get uncomfortable. Let's say you're shooting this sort of segment or what you saw at the beginning with like a traditional film light, you would have had to have it on a stand, you would have to rotate it around. This was a handheld setup. The light is light. It's not super, it doesn't overheat, get super hot. And we were able to just plug it into the wall in our kitchen within like 5 minutes. Like right out of the box to set this thing up takes no time. So I loved all those different features. Now the features that we didn't play around with, it's battery operated. So at the side, you can put two 9-volt batteries on the sides of this, and you can now make it portable. It can be a portable setup, which is like, so amazing. That means you don't need a generator to go out shoot somewhere, and that means you could go like, I could shoot that segment that you saw at the beginning, but like go out into the forest and capture that. So just having versatility and not being confined to just AC is amazing. I had some time to shoot some tutorials using that lighting setup. So I set up, again, there's a lot of aggression behind these words, but I set up this big massive light dome, and I was able to shoot just a couple videos using my sort of setup. And as obnoxious as my lighting setup was, now this is no fault of the Falcon. In fact, it was just this dome that I purchased. As obnoxious as it was, the image looked so good. The fall off of the light looked really beautifully soft on the skin, and My favorite thing about this one light is the fact that it has two dramatically different styles and setups that I could have just done right away. It has this nice, beautiful, like studio softbox type look, but also harsh spotlight that you can take out into nature and do some really cool stuff. And I'm sure there's a million other things you could do with this, but this is what I was able to sort of achieve within a day's worth of having this thing on my toolkit. But I know you're like, Zach, well, what are the cons? What are some bad things about this light? Well, really, there isn't a whole lot. Like, I think a few things that I didn't really enjoy too much about it was the fact that it is relatively loud. So if you are shooting something quiet, let's say you're shooting a movie or you need stuff quiet or you don't have a microphone that's like directional, this light will be a nuisance because it has a fan to it. It does make a noise. It's not super loud. It's enough of a fan that you could isolate that track and get rid of it in something like Audacity or Audition. And to capture those things that we can't see, always amazing, always perfect. That's always a great platform for 60 frames or 120. But if you don't have those tools available and you want something quieter, I would highly recommend getting maybe something like the light that I'm using right now, which is like an LED panel, because they just don't make any noise. If you like what I'm talking about, like what I'm babbling on about here, and really enjoy the content that I'm creating, it would mean a whole heck of a lot if you hit subscribe and share this video with all your friends. And if you like the light that I'm talking about, the Falcon Eye, you guys can take a look at it. There's a link to it in the description below. Super gem of a piece of gear, and again, it is a little bit beefier on the price, but for the functionality that you guys can get out of it, I would say it's a pretty awesome light to have on your toolkit. That's it. That's all. I'll see ya. Keep making some great stuff, and I'll see you when I get back from New Zealand. I'm just kidding. We'll make videos like this, I promise, but I won't be in this room for a while. So, yeah, bye.
Tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that, because you don't know who